And now it's time for the advanced English students. Are you sure that you have an advanced level of English? Let's find out. Hello, my name is Maddy from POC English, and in this lesson, I want to challenge your English. I have 10 questions for you, and these questions are for the advanced level of English. So if you think you're an advanced English student, take the test and tell me how many correct answers you have. Watch this lesson and take the test to challenge your English and learn a lot of advanced grammar and vocabulary. We're going to have 5 advanced grammar questions and 5 advanced vocabulary questions. For each question, I'll give you some time to think. You can also pause the video, think, play the video again, and then I will give you the correct answer. And more importantly, I will explain why that answer is correct. So you test and learn. Are you ready? Let's begin with the grammar questions. Question 1. I've never been, in my life, such embarrassed, so embarrassed, such an embarrassed. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. This was an easy question, right? But why so embarrassed? Why not such embarrassed? Well, we use so before adjectives, right? So embarrassed, so hot, so nice, so expensive. But where do we use such? Before a noun and an adjective. Such an expensive car. Such a nice lesson. Such a great video. So we should either say so embarrassed or such an embarrassed person. Now here we do not have person, so the answer is so embarrassed. That was easy. Let's go to the second one. Richard, it seems he finally made his decision. Had spoken to, having spoken to, speaking to. Very good, having spoken to, but why? If you start a sentence with a verb, and if that verb is the subject of the sentence, the verb needs to come with ing. This is called gerund. For example, swimming is good for your health. Speaking English is a dream for me. Teaching English is a very good job. In this sentence, the verb is speak. And the verb is going in the beginning of the sentence, so it should accept ing. Speaking, Richard. But something is wrong. I have a question. Is this sentence now or is it in the past? Very good. It's in the past. So, when your sentence is in the past, you need to use the past form of gerund, which is called perfect gerund. What is perfect gerund? It's having plus past participle of the verb. Having spoken to Richard, that's the answer. Having swam for nearly 10 kilometers, I was exhausted. Having taken the test the entire morning, I just wanted to rest. Having recorded this video, I now need to drink a glass of water. So, if you have a gerund in the past, you should use perfect gerund. Let's move on to question 3. If the decision before he arrived, he would have been furious. Would have been taken, was being taken, had been taken. Excellent, had been taken. But why? Well, here we have 2 actions. 1 is to take a decision and 2 is arrive, right? Now, arrive is simple past, correct? When was the decision taken? Was it taken before he arrived or after he arrived? Excellent, before he arrived. When you have 2 actions, and one action is simple past, and the other action is before the simple past, that is past perfect. Which means you should use this structure, had plus past participle. So, had taken is the correct answer. But no, there's still something you're missing. Who made the decision? Do you know? No, we don't know who made it. So it's a passive sentence. What is the passive of past perfect? You should use this structure. had been past participle. So the correct answer is had been taken. If the decision had been taken before he arrived, he would have been furious. There is also a third piece of grammar in this question, and that is third conditional. In third conditional, the if clause is past perfect. If plus past perfect would have past participle. So you see, in one question we had 3 grammatical points. Not so easy, was it? Let's move on. Question 4. The support of my boss, I wouldn't have been promoted. Because of, but for, given that. This was challenging, and the answer is but for. But what does it mean? Look at the second part of this question. I wouldn't have been promoted. This is the structure of third conditional sentences. In the third conditional sentences, the main clause is would have past participle. And here we have wouldn't have been, and been is past participle. So this can be a third conditional, but it doesn't have an if. That's the advanced point. In the third conditional sentences, you can replace part of the if clause with but for. But when? When that part of the if clause is negative. Now, what do I mean? The original sentence was this. If it hadn't been for the support of my boss, is it negative or positive? Negative. Is it past perfect? Yes. So it's a negative past perfect. In this case, you can replace it with but. If it hadn't been for, but for. But for the support of my boss, I wouldn't have been able to take this job. But for the help of my father, I wouldn't have been able to quit smoking. But for Maddy's video lessons, I wouldn't have been able to speak English. That was challenging, right? These are C1, C2 level questions. Let's go to the last question of grammar. By the time you're my age, your mind. You will probably have changed. You would probably change. You will probably change. Really challenging. What do you think? You will probably have changed. Very interesting sentence, but why? Well, let me help you step by step. First, when you are talking about future, you use excellent, will. Now, when you are talking about when an action or activity is going to end in the future, we use future perfect, which means will have plus past participle. In future perfect, we give the time with the preposition by. Let me give you an example. If you want to say that the oil of planet Earth is going to finish in 2050, you can use future perfect in this way. By 2050, the oil reserves of planet Earth will have finished. Now look at this question again. By, and then we have a time. The time you're my age. By the time you're my age, so we need to use a future perfect. You will have changed your mind. But am I entirely sure? No. So I use the adverb probably. You will probably have changed your mind. Interesting, right? Now it is time for 5 advanced vocabulary questions. Let's see how you'll do. Question 6. I can't help you. Right now. Think of an idiom with the word plate. Let me help you. In this sentence, why can't the speaker help? Because he or she is busy, right? Think of an idiom with the word plate, which means you are busy. This is my plate, and there are lots of things on my plate. I have a lot on my plate. That's the idiom. If you have a lot on your plate, that means you are busy. Now look at the question. I can't help you. I have a lot on my plate right now. Let's go to question 7. The government is raising taxes, but it's adding additional benefits for workers. Think of an idiom with the word pill. How does pill taste like? It's bitter, right? Now, is the pill necessary for your health? Yes, because you may be sick, so you need to take the pill. But that's bad. So while having the pill, you may have a spoon full of honey so that it makes the pill sweeter. And that is this idiom, to sweeten the pill. If you sweeten the pill, that means you are trying to make something which is bad look less bad. Imagine you want to give a pill to a child. How can you do that? You offer the pill and you give a piece of chocolate and you say, if you take the pill, I'll give you this chocolate. That is the meaning of this idiom. To sweeten the pill means to make something bad seem less bad. Now here's the full sentence. The government is raising taxes, which is bad, but to sweeten the pill, to make it less bad, it's adding additional benefits for workers. So workers would say, we're paying higher taxes, but hey, there are additional benefits, right? Enough with the idioms. Let's have another type of question. The journalist reported that the city was crisis. On the brink of, in the region of, on the grounds of. Excellent! On the brink of. What does it mean? If something is on the brink of happening, it means it is so close to happening. For example, the government is on the brink of collapse. That means the government is so close to collapse. But what about in the region of? What does it mean? That means about. For example, we spent something in the region of $2,000. That means we spent around, about, approximately $2,000. That's in the region of. But what about on the grounds of? On the grounds of means because of. The party was cancelled on the grounds of the neighbor's complaint. So there was a party, the neighbor called the police, and then the party was cancelled. Why? On the grounds of the neighbor's complaint. All right, moving on to question 9. Travelers know exactly how to get extra discount on their bookings. Seasoned travelers, intrepid travelers, independent travelers. Very good. Seasoned travelers. What does it mean? Seasoned travelers are experienced travelers. They have a lot of experience traveling to different parts of the world, staying in many different hotels, and because of that experience, they know how to get extra discount. But what about the other adjectives? Intrepid traveler. What does that mean? An intrepid traveler is a brave traveler, is an adventurous traveler. Someone who goes in the middle of Amazon forest without being afraid of the crocodiles or snakes. And what about independent traveler? That's a traveler who travels on his or her own without asking the agencies for help. Excellent job! Let's see if you can answer this last question. His grandfather often dozes in front of the TV after dinner. Dozes out, dozes off, dozes over. Very good. Dozes off. This is a very nice phrasal verb. To doze off means to fall asleep without wanting to. So I was on the bus today, but I was really tired. I dozed off and I missed my stop. Oh my God, where are we? I dozed off. That means I fell asleep without having wanted to. And now, moment of truth. How many correct answers do you have? If you have 8 or fewer than 8 correct answers, your level is pre-advanced. If you have more than 8 correct answers, 9 or 10, that means you have an advanced command of the English language. Well done, good job. Now, before we finish this lesson, I have some good news for you. If you want to take the IELTS test, my courses are finally ready, and in 2 days, I will tell you how you can register. So stay tuned. Bye.